I am Iron Man.
Hello there.
Avengers!
So I did actually, if I can start real quick, brief Star Wars. I feel like, like last week we talked a little bit about Marvel out of the movie. And this week I had three quick hitting questions for you before we got started, just to kind of establish where we are as Star Wars fans. I feel like it'll just like anyone listening, and even just for ourselves, like this is where we're at. And my questions are: what is your favorite Star Wars movie? What is, in your opinion, the best Star Wars movie? And then who is your favorite Jedi or Sith? Like whatever Force user you like.
Yeah. Favorite movie? Probably the one I could watch over and over again would be Episode 3. Probably Revenge of the Sith.
Same.
That's like my all-time favorite. I mean, I could watch any of them, honestly, but like 4, 5, and 6 definitely get a little boring at points. So, especially 4. But what was it? Favorite.
So Episode 3 is your favorite. What do you think is the best? So is that, in your opinion, the best?
I don't know. I honestly think 3 is the best. I mean, it has the best story. I don't know. I think 3 is the best, but I mean, it obviously, popular opinion would be Empire Strikes Back or Return of the Jedi. But I honestly love the third one, and that just might be because that was the first Star Wars movie I saw in theaters. So it's kind of has a
that's really cool,
nostalgic, but
yeah.
But
so I'm surely probably having positive vibes going into this series then,
Oh yeah.
In my opinion, I will be a total classic guy right here and just say favorite is Episode 3. Revenge of the Sith is my go-to I can quote that whole movie.
They honestly should have just made Episode 3. They should have just cut out 1 and 2. Maybe thrown Darth Maul into 3, and then
Darth Maul and Qui-Gon somehow in 3.
And then because number 2 is just like Episode 2 is just a pile of dog shit. Like
every time I watch Episode 2, I'm like, maybe it'll be good this time. It's like shout out to my dad. It's like when he goes and rewatches Super Bowl was 39, I think, is when the Eagles lost to the Patriots. It's like maybe they'll win this.
Maybe there'll be a timeline change.
Right. But no, yeah, I want Episode, because there's so many things in Episode 2 just I love conceptually. But yeah, I mean, it's a terrible movie. But I will say, like, I'm the classic Star Wars fan. That's Episode 3 is my favorite, but classic Empire Strikes Back, I think, is the best.
See, I gotta. Go. Yep.
No, I just think start to finish, like there's almost no lull in that one. I get and agree. I've gotten in fights with Nick about this. Episode 4 and A New Hope and Return of the Jedi. I think there are some moments in there like they're definitely like bathroom moments, right? You're like, all right, I'm gonna go get some popcorn.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. Yeah.
But Empire Strikes Back for me it just doesn't miss, and I think there's a reason it's one of the greatest sequels of all time.
It is. Oh yeah, I was gonna say it is one of the probably, if between that and Godfather 2, probably the greatest sequels of all time. I guess my biggest thing was I haven't watched 4, 5, and 6 probably in about 4 or 5 years. It's been a while since I've watched all 3 of them, like the originals. So I think that's something I got to do is go back and rewatch them. Yeah,
I will tell you. The last time I did a rewatch, I am that nerd that chronological. I'll do it. 1 to 6, and I have never included 7 and 9. I have not done a 7 and 9 rewatch, but another time we'll talk about that.
I don't think I've done that yet either.
I just haven't.
Yeah.
But like the last time I rewatched, and I did 3 into 4, the amount of little things in 3 that are mentioned in 4 is actually really cool.
Yeah,
like,
well,
I want to say like the Senate is mentioned.
Yeah,
and like
what I
the
did
Clone
in
Wars, like there's a lot.
cool because George Lucas wrote all of the movies at once in like the 70s. Like he
Right.
wrote, and then the studio was like, no, you're gonna make 4, 5, and 6 first, because it just, I guess they liked the story like that storyline better. Honestly, it's not the same, but it's similar. You know what I mean? Like a
Sure.
young
Yeah,
kid
yeah, yeah.
turning into a Jedi. But I guess they were like, oh, that one will do better with the audience, and it clearly did. But
That's when it went. That's when the good actually wins. So it makes sense to do that one
exactly,
first.
yeah.
But yeah. So I think that's cool. Hey, just podcast idea, live rewatch on Twitch or YouTube or something. Just saying,
dude, I'm down. I'm down.
That'd be fun. Definitely.
That'd be
A little
awesome.
New Hope action, live reactions.
Oh,
That'd be
yeah.
fun.
Oh yeah.
Get everyone on here. But all right. So last question before we talk Obi-Wan. Favorite.
Favorite.
Let's say Force user character, basically. Because unless you're gonna throw like a droid at me, I feel like, come on.
Yeah.
Or Han Solo.
Throw a Grievous at you or something. I've always loved Darth Maul. I always thought he was like the cool. Mainly because of the the horns and the double-sided lightsaber. Like that's always
greatest
been
designs ever.
That I would say it's probably a tie between Obi-Wan and Darth Maul. Are my favorite.
So Obi-Wan is your favorite Jedi. Your excitement for this show must have been through the roof.
Yeah. I was very excited for the show. I've always wanted to see like what happened between episode 3 and episode 4, because that's like almost a 20-year time gap. So
yeah.
I've always wanted to.
Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan is one of my favorite things about the prequels.
Perfect.
And this show, whether it was a movie, whether it was a show, I've been looking forward to this forever too. My favorite Jedi going into Sith, it's Anakin. Anakin from the prequels.
Yeah.
I think Hayden Christensen Anakin. I loved his character for so many different reasons that I'm sure plenty of people hated him for. But I don't know. I just always liked him as a kid. I still enjoy him. And, Darth Vader is still one of the coolest villains ever. So both sides, baby.
Especially the 3rd episode. But we'll get into that. Holy shit, that was crazy.
Yeah.
But one thing I wanted to say about Hayden Christensen, he gets a lot of hate for his acting in 1, 2, and 3. Well, I guess 2 and 3.
Right.
But I don't think it's his fault. I think that's more of George Lucas's fault, because he wanted this whole romantic thing between, like, he wanted them to be like Star Wars, but also romance, especially number 2, like episode 2. He wanted it to be like Star Wars, but a romantic movie, because that's when like him and Padme officially became, whatever.
Right.
But I just think it was George Lucas's directing that, like, it's like the whole like, I hate sand, it's coarse and it gets it. Like, obviously that was not his first take, and that's the best take they got out of it, because it's, number one, dumbass dialogue, like, and like, I don't know. I just he gets a lot of shit for his acting. I think he's a decent actor. Obviously he's a Hollywood actor, so he has to be at least a little
better
good.
than us.
Yeah. But I don't know. I just wanted to, because he's I'll get into that later. But
I will just add fuel to that fire. I rewatched 2 and 3 before this series started, and we always remember the "I hate sand, it's coarse, it gets everywhere" line. But in my opinion, the worst line from him was actually when he sees Padme for the first time, and she goes, "Oh my God, look how much you've grown!" And he goes, "So have you." Pause.
Yeah.
Grown more beautiful, that is. And I'm like,
he is so creepy. I understand. It does kind of make sense for the character, because he's around dudes all the time. All he knows is dude. You know what I mean? Like, he's
right, and he's only supposed to be like, I don't know, 20. Like,
yeah.
It's not like he's supposed to be some complex guy at this point, but it's just such bad dialogue. Like, it's not like it's his fault.
No, yeah, it was just George Lucas trying to be, this great writer director, but
yeah, George Lucas had a mind not many others has, but also maybe not the best at specific things in the job.
Yeah, creating a gajillion-dollar franchise with amazing characters and great stories. Yeah, he's got that down 100%. Writing good lines that get across to people and don't sound weird and creepy and forced, probably not as great.
Probably not so much.
Yeah. But dude, this series, number one, I love that it's only going to be 6. I mean, I love and I hate that it's only going to be 6 episodes. Only I love it because they're getting to the good shit quick. Like they're not throwing any fluff in. They're not, like doing any bullshit side stories. It's action after action after, like, shit we want to see over, like, right after the other. But yeah, I'm all about this series. This is,
dude, this series has yet to disappoint me. And I know I am a huge fan of Star Wars, and I'm a prequels fan. So I had high hopes. I wouldn't say expectations. I said it last week, whether people heard me or not, it's fine. But I said it last week, and my biggest thing going into this was I was worried they were going to pull like a Boba Fett or even like a Marvel series thing where they were like, okay, it's Obi-Wan series, but let's follow, an Inquisitor for half an episode.
Yeah.
Or let's follow
like when Boba Fett basically turned into Mandalorian season 3. Like
right, which I loved Mandalorian season 3 in the Book of Boba Fett. But like that's what I was worried was gonna happen. And that's not at all what happened, and it's awesome.
It is. It's been amazing so far.
It's so good. And okay, all right. Can we do like we don't have to like the whole time, but like let's like maybe do like an episode, not recap, but like overall
like
thoughts
breakdown
episode.
Yeah.
So like
first episode, I was like not appalled, but amazed that they opened with Order 66 on Coruscant. Because I was like,
scene was amazing.
Because I was like, oh, maybe this will be like, I thought it was gonna be like, seeing Obi-Wan as a, like, maybe they were just gonna introduce us to Obi-Wan for a second as like him, learning as a young Jedi, and then it like transitions into him being an old man. But I was like, oh no, shit, they're showing Order 66 right now. I was like, oh damn.
Which was just as terrifying and amazing as it's ever been, really.
Yeah, that was and one thing I wanted to I thought of while I was watching it, and then it got reinforced when I watched another breakdown. Do you think, if not a couple of those kids that escaped, like that are running away, at least one of them's one of the Inquisitors?
Oh, I
think one of them's Reva. Like
100% it's Reva. Like
okay. That's what I thought too.
I haven't rewatched episode. It's so weird. Part 1. It's so much easier to part 1. I haven't rewatched part 1 to like look at like what the kids look like. I don't remember. I just remember a group of kids.
Yeah.
But I am 100%. Reva is one of those kids. 1,100%.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. For sure.
Definitely.
Because I think that's what's driving her. What's driving her is her. Okay, so we're gonna go to Reva. I think what's driving her is her hatred for Obi-Wan. We're definitely gonna get more of that Order 66 scene, and we're gonna see her react. And I assume she's gonna see Obi-Wan, and like maybe he you know what I think. Okay, I'm literally making this up on the spot. But what I'm guessing, remember in episode 3, Obi-Wan and Yoda go to the Jedi Temple to like turn off the like beacon.
Yeah, and they're like reviewing the footage and stuff like that.
Right, and that's where he learns Darth Vader is Anakin's name for the first time.
Yeah.
My guess is that I already forget her name.
Reva.
Reva. I keep. Anyway, Reva. My guess is Reva was one of those kids. Maybe she's the only one that survives, and she's hiding there, sees Obi-Wan, and he doesn't help her. Maybe he doesn't know she's there.
Yeah.
Maybe he tries to help her, and then like they get separated. I don't know. I think that's how she sees Obi-Wan, thinks he's going to help her. He doesn't, and that's when the hatred is born. Because she is so driven by this hatred. And it has to stem from somewhere. Like it is connected to Obi-Wan Kenobi specifically. And just going off of part one, Reva's okay in part one.
Yeah.
She's okay in part one. She's not. Oh shit.
Yeah. So I'll have to. I don't know. Maybe here I can listen to the audio at some point. But yeah, tire popped mid conversation yesterday. So basically, the tire just popped, and I changed the tire on the turnpike. Not an easy
geez.
like.
Yeah,
like there was like a minimum shoulder distance. Like thank God it wasn't construction. It was an actual. There was a shoulder, but like I had maybe 5 inches of space between the car and the bumper or the guide rail. And so I'm like squeezing in between there because, of course, well, I guess I'd rather that than the side facing the street. Yeah, but I was squeezing in between because that was the side the pop tire was, and I had to jack it up, replace it out, put the donut on, and then I'm making calls like trying to be like, okay, like I got 90 miles left. Am I gonna make it home?
Was it your car? Or was it?
Thank God it was a rental. It was a rental.
Oh, it was a rental. Okay.
I got to the rental place this morning. I was like, they were like, oh, so no any issues? I was like, yeah, tires busted. Good luck with that.
Have fun with that.
That's
the worst.
It was yeah.
I thought you had gotten rear-ended because I heard I heard the tire pop. You can hear it in the audio.
Yeah.
And then you went, oh shit. And I was like, oh fuck, did he just get into an accident?
Yeah, because that probably wouldn't have looked good. But like, no, that's the funny thing. I was talking to Val and I'm like, so I don't know what the worst thing you can imagine is coming home from the site visit is going to be for work. And she was like, oh, did you get in an accident? I was like, I guess that is worse, huh? And you even said rear-ended before. I was like, I didn't even think about it. I could have got it and very much could have gotten in an accident because I was just on the turnpike. I was just off the side. Oh my God. It could have been so bad. I'm very lucky. Very thankful.
Well, that's good. It was only a blown tire. So
yeah.
That makes it a lot better. Because I was like, oh God. Because then you got to deal with all the insurance bullshit and
I know, minimal damage, really. They're just gonna patch that up and put it right back.
No, yeah.
Fuck the next guy.
Yeah. It'll pop for him too.
They will.
It was probably patched. They gave it to you, it popped for you, and they're gonna patch it again. And
I actually really do think that was the issue because I went over the tire curious if there was a nail or glass or something, and I could find nothing, but I heard it and saw how deflated it was. I think it was a pop patch.
Probably.
So anyway, I think we were talking about Reva when it popped.
Yep, that's when we left off. Yep.
Okay, so jumping into it and kind of sticking with, we were still talking part one. I will say, to leak into all of the parts so far, I know there's racist stuff going on, and I'm just going to ignore that because whatever. But like general criticism of Reva, I actually really like her.
Yeah.
A lot.
Oh, like you mean fans don't like her because of racism stuff? Or
there's what I was trying to say was like there's racism things and you gotta like ignoring that stuff aside. But like people are saying like, oh, she's I don't know if they're saying that she's a bad actor or if they're saying they just don't like her character or what. But
I think she's pretty good.
I really like it. I bought her pop. I was like, dude, I'm digging this.
Yeah.
The thing something lightsaber fights. There's plenty to talk about when it comes to lightsaber fights, but I love, and again, maybe it's because I've already filled in her backstory in my head. Like we talked about before, like I definitely think she's a youngling who is bitter against Obi-Wan and she's pissed. Right. And that's all in my head. But because of that, I'm like, that's why she's so angry. Like technically we've only seen her angry for no reason. And I guess that might come off as bad, but I really like her. I think
there's definitely a point to her anger. Like there's definitely a reason why she hates Obi-Wan so much. And I mean, the Sith hate the Jedi for, for reasons, but like why she specifically hates Obi-Wan and like is the only one that's really focused on getting him.
Exactly. And I really dig it. I really dig how it really screams dark side of the Force because it is pure hatred driving her. And I mean, if that's not the dark side, what are we talking about? What is
exactly.
And assuming that is okay. So man, I wanted to talk about part. All right. We'll do speculation at the end. Sorry. Part one, other stuff. The Inquisitors is like besides Reva, the Inquisitors as a whole are okay. I was actually not a big fan of them as a like thing. Like
well, they were in
Inquisitors.
Rebels, right?
They are. So this was a question I wanted to ask you. Have you watched Clone Wars or Rebels?
I am actually in the process of watching Clone Wars right now.
Okay.
I had been off and on, like I'll watch it and then I got bored, and then I watch it and I got bored because I mean, in all honesty, it is a kid's show. Like,
it is. 100%.
Later on, I've been told the later seasons are more adult centered.
Yes.
But like I think Nick was telling me, like your brother Nick was telling me that like the first 3 seasons are like sort of kiddish, and then after that, it's just like pure Star Wars nerd shit. Like
season. Do you know the big baddie that comes in Clone Wars?
Isn't it Darth Maul?
Yeah. Okay. So I didn't want to spoil it.
So I've seen like the whole
Maul,
like Kenobi scream and everything like that.
Kenobi. Yeah. Once Maul comes into Clone Wars, it's genuinely just good. Just as a Star Wars fan, it's good. Season 7 was phenomenal. The Disney Plus season.
Oh, is that the last one?
Oh my god! Like for fans of Star Wars that will not or have not ever watched the Clone Wars, I have said this to everyone that I know that likes Star Wars. Just watch the last 4 episodes of season 7. If that's the only Star Wars Clone Wars content you ever watch, you will love it. I guarantee it.
See, I was gonna just watch the 7th season because I was like, oh, I've heard that one's the best, and I started watching the first episode of that season, and I was like, I have no idea what's going on. So I was like, I'll just watch the whole show.
That's what the first arc of 7. Honestly, season 7 as a whole isn't fantastic. Yeah. Like it's not. The first arc of 7 sets up the Bad Batch, which is its own show now.
Yep.
The second arc of 7 is an Ahsoka check-in, which is fine because we didn't even get her in season 6 at all. But the final arc of 7 is, I mean, I don't even want to say anything else. It's so good. Like it's just, I don't want to spoil it in any way, but it's really good. But anyway, so Rebels, I have watched Rebels, and Rebels is also very much a kid's show, but has some of the coolest. I don't know what you know about Rebels, but some of the moments in Rebels are like top 5 Star Wars content of all time. Just like, I don't want to spoil it for you, but there are certain fights that we will never get on another medium, probably, that are in Rebels, and it's amazing. It's amazing. Anyway, Inquisitors are in Rebels, and they're good for Rebels. And I was very skeptical of them coming into Obi-Wan Kenobi. I think they're okay so far. Yeah. Again, I like Reva. I think as a character, I really like her. Yeah. But as a group, I think the Inquisitors have only been like okay, especially in part 1.
I feel like they're definitely easier to portray as animation than in real life.
Yes,
because like the Grand Inquisitor, like I've seen images and videos of him like in Rebels, and he looks, menacing in the cartoon, like in the cartoon version. Yeah. And they can't really do that without him looking stupid in real life. So I mean, they did a good job. I mean, his eyes are like the Sith eyes, like those yellow eyes, and he does have like the markings, but they're not as like they're not
as like defined or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, I mean they did the best they could. I don't have too much of a background with the Inquisitors because of like I haven't watched Rebels yet or anything. But from what I've seen, they're pretty cool.
They're pretty good on like as far as a live adaptation goes. I think they're as good as they could have ever looked.
Yeah,
really. I think we haven't seen enough of them doing stuff, and that's my issue with them.
Yeah,
like I loved Reva interrogating the Tatooine town. I don't know if that's Mos Eisley.
Oh yeah, when they catch the Jedi in the cafe, or they try to catch him in the cafe.
They're trying to catch the Jedi in the cafe when she's interrogating the town, and she cuts the random woman's hand off. Like,
oh my god, that was terrifying. I was like, holy shit.
It's a great.
I forgot about that.
They're great scenes, but to me, the shining character of those scenes is just Reva. It's not the Inquisitors as a whole. Well, so that's what I want to see them do more as a group.
Yeah,
and I think we kind of get that with part 3.
Yeah,
but just a little bit more, which is good.
Well, because like when they're not interrogating, but when they're talking to that like the people in the cantina thing, the Grand Inquisitor is kind of like toying with them, like, oh, if they trying to toy, and Reva's just like, fuck this bullshit. I'm gonna throw this knife at this guy and see if anybody stops it. Then we'll be able to pull out the Jedi. Like, I feel like she's not patient when it comes to wanting to get things. Like she wants it now, and she's gonna get it her way. And the other Inquisitors, I mean, at least the ones we've met so far, are more sort of like calm, cool, and collected like Jedi, but you know what I mean? Like,
it's very interesting because the Inquisitors, from my understanding, so I mean, to go super Star Wars nerd for anyone listening, but like there's only ever supposed to be 2 Sith, right? That's the whole thing. There's always a master, there's an apprentice. But the Inquisitors were Darth Vader's recruits. That's like, hey, bitch, I'm not going to kill you if you work for me.
Yeah.
And
you do my bidding, you get to live.
Right. And so it's almost like, well, they're using the Force, but they're not yet necessarily using the dark side. They're also not necessarily like, I don't know what I'm trying to say. The long story short,
they're
is
like
that,
neutral, but also dark side.
yes, they're neutral, but they're also doing evil shit.
Yeah.
And so I kind of forget what I was trying to say with this, but basically, I just think that they're okay. But I really like that Reva is just like, I think she's acting like an episode 2 Anakin. Like she is like actually like dabbling in the dark side.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's where I was trying to go with that. I lost track.
It works. It works for the train of thought. I know.
I got off track trying to not be super nerdy and then still be a super nerd.
One thing there was a whole lot of stuff that happened in the first episode, but there also wasn't. I mean, we got reintroduced to Uncle Ben, or not Uncle Ben. Oh my God. Uncle Owen. Yeah, R.I.P. Uncle Owen, which I thought it was cool. They brought back the same actor from Revenge of the Sith. And apparently they brought back the same actress too to play Aunt Beru. I guess we just haven't seen her yet.
We just, I guess she was in one of the like long shots, right, with Luke when Luke was pretending in a pod race or whatever.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
I would love to see some pod racing at some point.
That would be that would be a nice little, like if Obi-Wan had to like cross through a pod race to get away from a Sith or something. Like that would be.
Can I sidetrack for a second, real quick?
Mm-hmm.
I am constantly hearing Star Wars fans complain, "Oh, I just don't want to go back to Tatooine." Why?
It's the coolest place.
Star Wars. Why do you care if we're at
That is
Tatooine
the origin of Star Wars. Like,
I don't get that argument. I just, anyway, I wanted to know what your thoughts are on that.
It's the best place to go. It's the best place to have like the series because, well, I mean, number one, that's where the origins of the Star Wars story started. And number two, it's just like such a scummy place that it makes good for good stories. And, like there's so many different types of people there that
it's rooted in both the sequel, or it's rooted in both the originals and the prequels. So
and the sequels and like 7, 8, and 9.
Right. Like it's one of the reasons I think that, it's like The Mandalorian. The Mandalorian works because it is classic Star Wars with prequels and original cameos throughout it.
Yeah.
And you're not going to get more shit like that than in Tatooine.
Well,
anyway.
That's what I love about these Disney shows they're coming out with, like the Disney Plus series, like especially the Star Wars ones, is they give Star Wars a more worldly feeling, like an actual, like not just a fantasy land. It feels like a real world, like because Obi-Wan's in hiding and he has a regular job working as a regular guy, cutting fish and stuff. And you see people dealing drugs and you see people like, it gave it a more worldly feeling.
Yes, it feels. So that's what part 1 did a great job, I think, of really bringing you to where is Obi-Wan mentally.
Yeah. Yep.
And he is beat up, man. Like he is scared. He's beat up. Oh my God. And so you brought up the fish thing, which I really like. That's like, oh, Obi-Wan's just this butcher dude, like day-to-day job, right?
Yep.
They kept showing him slice that little piece of meat for himself.
Yeah. Yep.
I thought for sure that was going to be important.
Yeah. Like the boss
some guy was
gonna
going
like
to
say
beat him up or
something.
something.
Yeah. Yep.
But
that's what I thought too. But he's like, nope,
game of that.
That's my meal.
But anyway, I really like it. They really bring him down to earth. And it's weird seeing Obi-Wan Kenobi at this place, right? But it makes total sense, and especially going into part 3. Again, part 3 has really, the fact that we're halfway through the show already, and I feel it's just in a great direction.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I think they really established he's beat up, he's not in a good place, and when Organa comes a call, and he's just like,
I got it. Yeah, I'm
I
not the
guess?
same person. Yeah, I love that when he was like, I'm not the same person I was 10 years ago. Like I'm not this, supreme Jedi master anymore. I'm just a regular guy. Like he basically almost like Spider-Man 2'd himself. Like he forgot how to use his powers because he hasn't used them in so long. Like,
yeah, he had that mental block.
Yeah.
And something else from part 1 and in part 3, probably part 2, and I just can't remember. We keep talking. He keeps reaching out to Qui-Gon Jinn, and he was.
Yeah.
Oh, we haven't even addressed. Was that not the greatest like recap of all time?
Oh, like the
part
beginning,
1? The prequels
Yeah.
recap.
Yeah, that was perfect. I was
watching that 5
expecting
minutes.
that. Yeah,
it was the greatest thing ever.
I was like, oh shit! Like they're recapping literally the entire prequels. Like, and this is awesome.
Yes. But yeah, they even mentioned in that like Yoda's like, I have a thing for you to do. Try and talk to Obi-Wan or try to talk
Qui-Gon
to your old master. And in every episode, every part, Obi-Wan meditates or something. He's like, Master.
I have a feeling we're gonna be seeing Liam Neeson.
We are for sure seeing.
We got a glimpse of his voice. I mean, it was a flashback, but when he was trying to reach out to him in part 3, you heard him say like, "You must train. You promised me you'll train the young one." And at first I was like, "Oh shit, is that actually Qui-Gon?" But it was just him thinking.
Do you think we get a full ghost?
That I don't know, because they did bring Qui-Gon into part 7 or to episode 7. Remember when Rey has that like flashback? He was one of the voices,
right?
So I do have a feeling they're going to bring Liam Neeson in because obviously he's game for cameoing, and I'm pretty sure we'll get like a Force ghost.
I think we're
because they did it with Yoda.
Yeah,
like and so I feel like they'll throw it in with Qui-Gon.
I think he's gonna be a full Force ghost. He also Star Wars Celebration just happened last weekend, which I didn't even know about till it was happening.
I didn't. Yeah,
but at Celebration they announced a new cartoon that is gonna be like a prequel to the prequels. It's called Tales of the Jedi, and it's like half of the show is going to focus on Count Dooku as a Jedi before he turns, which is pretty sweet.
Because isn't he Qui-Gon's apprentice, or Qui-Gon's his apprentice?
He's Qui-Gon's master, and Liam Neeson is confirmed to come back to voice Qui-Gon in it.
That would be awesome.
And his son as like super young Qui-Gon. But yeah, no, I think we're definitely going to see Qui-Gon Jinn. I'm trying to think other stuff from part 1 before we go to part 2. You said Uncle Owen, great, did a great job.
Oh yeah, yep. Also the Jedi that was killed, like captured and killed, the one from the cantina. He was a cameo. Yeah. His name's Benny Safdie. He's a actor director. He did Good Time and that Adam Sandler Uncut Gems.
Oh,
the one where Adam Sandler's him and his brother are like actor directors, and he's really good. So I was like, oh shit, that's him. Like that's pretty cool that they throw in some cameos.
Again, something I love about Disney's Star Wars is these side characters are always some fun cameo.
Oh yeah,
like
Flea from the Red Hot Chili Peppers was in part 2.
He's the like main bounty hunter.
Yeah,
dude.
yeah. That's why I was like, oh,
he's
shit,
like a
Flea.
significant character.
Yeah. I mean, I knew he did some acting, but I was like, shit, he's in a Star Wars series.
And
like,
then,
that's pretty cool.
And then in part 3, Freck, our friendly transporter, is Zach
Braff. Yeah, I didn't
like they
know
probably had him come over after doing Cheap by the Dozen. It was like, hey, just do this for a day.
Pop in for a second. Yeah.
Just pop over. And he was like,
I didn't realize, because I was like, that voice sounds so familiar. And then the breakdown episode I watched in part 3, and they're like, oh, and Zach Braff voices Frick, and I was like, oh wow. Huh.
Yeah, I agree. I couldn't pin it, but at the whole time I'm like, I know this is going to be someone. And then there you go.
I mean, there wasn't much else to part 1 other than, Leia getting kidnapped, which I really love the girl they picked to play Leia. I think she's a perfect young Leia.
Cute patootie. I love it.
Oh yeah. Yep.
And they really emphasize, I guess it's not until part 2, which we can get into in a bit, or we can transition into here, but like she really does act like a young Padme.
Oh yeah, like very bossy, very very matter of fact for a 9-10-year-old.
Yeah.
Definitely. I mean, and I love the way that Obi-Wan is like, because this is the first time we've seen Obi-Wan and Leia together.
Right.
Ever.
I mean,
at least, ever.
He doesn't make it to her.
Yeah. And but like the way he keeps looking at her, like, holy shit, you're the spitting image, and like have the same character traits as your mother. You know what I mean? Like it's cool. We get to see him be like, holy shit, like you look and act exactly like your mother.
And even that, like, so going back to part 3, when they're on the transporter and like he does the miss up and he says Leia, and he's like talking to the stormtroopers, is like, oh, that's her mother, blah blah blah, and he like opens up to Leia a
sometimes I
little
just look
bit,
at her and
like,
she just reminds me way too much of her. Yeah, like that whole scene, I was like,
oh, Ewan McGregor coming in full speed with this whole acting thing.
Perfect. I mean, just amazing.
And I love to like, I saw a review, or not a review, but I saw people online saying like, oh, in episode 1, he looks all like clunky. And it's like, no, I don't think Ewan's clunky. It's like, he's trying to portray that Obi-Wan is just, he doesn't know what he's doing.
He's a defeated man.
Yeah.
He's defeat. Like,
and I think he does a great job of it.
Yeah. He's a man that lost everything. He failed. I mean, he blames it on himself because he was Anakin's master, which, I mean, there's really nothing he could have done. Yeah. But he's just a shell of a man that is just trying to live out his life and watch over this boy. You know what I mean? Like, make sure that Luke stays protected.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's basically just like a guardian angel. Yeah.
And it's funny. At first, when Leia showed up, I loved it as a cameo. But then, like, when I realized, oh, Leia's going to be a significant part, I'm like, do I like this? Like, is this too Mandalorian, like another child kind of thing? But it works, dude. It works a lot. Like, and it totally, like, I don't know if like they couldn't think of anything else, but it really does make sense that the only thing that gets Obi-Wan to leave Tatooine would be one of the twins.
Yeah.
Is
I'm glad they didn't do Luke because number one, it just wouldn't make sense because Luke meets him 10 years later. He obviously remember Ben Kenobi at, you know what I mean? Being 10 years old. So I'm glad they chose that it's Leia. And also from the first episode, the toy that he brings and that's what he's playing with in New Hope. Yeah. So obviously at the end of the series, we're probably going to see him drop it back off to Owen and Beru.
I think we're going to get a meeting of Luke and Obi-Wan.
More than likely,
because
whether it's like in passing or just like a brief, like how you do
they're
it.
They're not going to have an adventure, but I think because like Luke does know who Ben is. He doesn't know he's Obi-Wan. He's like, oh, old Ben Kenobi.
Ben
is that
Kenobi.
What you're talking about?
Yeah, the old weird guy that lives in the
the old hermit, the old cuckoo over there. Like, I think they're gonna. I think the finale is at some point gonna have that moment of him giving the toy to Luke. It's a quick meeting, and at that point, you know, Obi-Wan's gonna be, I think, a much better man.
Yeah.
All right. So part 2, jump off of Tatooine. We're on this other planet. I don't remember.
It's not that Mapuzo's the one they go to after. I forget what it's called, but it's basically like Star Wars version of Hong Kong.
Yeah.
Like
Do we have maybe one of my new favorite cameos in a clone trooper on the street asking
I
for food?
have that written down here. I was like, I wrote this as I was watching. I was like, the homeless clone trooper was cool as shit. Like, and they got what's his name to be like. I mean, obviously they wouldn't have any issue because he's Boba Fett, but like,
he's next door too, doing everything for Disney right now. But like, I one of the things I had saw like, oh, who's gonna pop up in Obi-Wan Kenobi, and I loved the idea that Commander Cody could show up, like a disgruntled Commander Cody. I don't think that's going to happen at this point because we're pretty. There's a lot that I want to happen still, and again, we'll get to speculation, I guess. But like, I think that was the only time we're going to see. I can't remember that actor's name, but the guy who plays the clones, Boba Fett, Morrison. Yes, like Morrison. Yeah. I don't think we'll get another cameo of his.
Probably not. Because I mean,
but I thought that was perfect.
That was because when I was looking at him, I was like, that's one of the clone troopers. I was like, holy shit. And there was a lot of speculation that was Rex or whatever. Like everyone thought it was, but I mean, I know he like, doesn't he form the Bad Batch and stuff like that?
No. Rex is he's just off somewhere being a hermit kind of thing. Okay. He's just in hiding. He doesn't even join the rebellion until Rebels, which technically takes place after Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But which is another weird thing because the Grand Inquisitor very much stabbed in parts.
So I'm pretty sure they're gonna do what they did to Fennec, whatever her name was, where they just modded her and because I mean if Darth Vader
they're gonna pull a Disney and be like, that person you think is dead is not dead, and here's the magic why he's not dead.
Yeah. A classic classic Disney classic
It's
Disney
very
treatment.
much was a Marvel thing. It's now just all of
It's-
Disney.
oh, yeah.
No one dies. No one dies in Disney. No consequences.
No, yeah. So I mean, I know I'm skipping around towards the end, but
Yeah.
I
I mean, the end of part 2 though is so good.
I did not realize that Obi-Wan didn't know that Anakin was dead. I thought he knew that Anakin was Darth Vader, and then when she was like, taunting him when she was walking around, like, you didn't, and it was cool that it was cool that she could sense that he was like, holy shit, he's still alive, like, he
Yes.
could sense his confusion.
Yes.
And I didn't realize that, because when his face, like, it was literally like he saw a ghost.
So that was one of my biggest speculations for this show, and I was so glad it happened to some extent, because when Nick and I would talk about it, I'm like, when you think of Obi-Wan Kenobi, you're like, who could the big baddie be? And like the prequels, it's like Darth Maul's back.
Yeah.
Bring Darth Maul as the main villain, blah 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 blah. And it's like they announce, oh, it's Vader, and you're like, shit, that's really cool, right?
Yeah.
But how do you make that interesting? And I was thinking about it before the show, and I had this conversation with Nick, and I was like, how cool would it be if Obi-Wan didn't know he was dead and didn't even recognize Vader?
Yeah.
And like, that's exactly what they do.
Yeah. Yep.
Because it's so, like, when you think about episode 3, he knows Darth Vader's his name because of when he goes to the library and he sees the hologram.
Yeah.
And then he leaves Anakin just burnt,
Pretty much
and chopped up
leaves him for dead. Yeah.
in the lava, right?
Yeah.
Like he's like, I'm walking away. Like I can't put you down.
There's nothing
Boy.
I can do to save you right now.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like Batman Begins. I don't have to kill you, but I don't have to save you.
But I don't have
either.
to save you. Yep.
But that's what he does. And so like that, again, another great acting moment from you and McGregor. And I'm just fanboy, but who cares?
My biggest theory was from that moment, because he goes, Anakin, and then it flashes to Darth Vader, like, in his Banta tank or whatever the hell it is.
Yeah.
Do you think that they're almost kind of force linking like Rey and Ben did at that moment? Like he's kind of realizing, like, oh shit, Obi-Wan realizes I'm alive. Like, I
think that's very fair to say. I did not think of that, but I like that.
I don't know if it's just the editing that makes it look like that, but like Obi-Wan's kind of sitting there, like, his mind's racing, and then it's almost kind of like he clicks into Anakin's mind and is like, Anakin?
And Anakin's, if I remember correctly, he opens his eyes.
Yeah. So I didn't know if that was just trick editing or if that's like them kind of force linking, sort of like what Rey and Kylo did.
I mean, hey, if it's just good editing, that was really good editing.
Yeah.
And if it is force linking, I'm all for it. That's a great idea.
That's because I was like, because it just had that feeling, like when Rey and Kylo would sort of link to each other. But.
Yep. And okay, so kind of part 2. There's a whole Breaking Bad thing that's cool. Like that was a good moment.
Oh yeah,
I never watched Breaking Bad, but hey, it was fun. He does the whole mask setup thing and he beats everyone. Also, Obi-Wan, good shot. Good shot at this point. Basically looked like he never held a gun in episode 3 at this point. Good shot.
He's definitely had some practice over the last 10 years. My
only criticism for the show so far really is actually part 2, which is when he and Leia are running across the rooftops. And it's like, he's trying to chase Leia. Leia's running from him. She's a child. It all makes sense.
Yeah.
And then it's like, Reva is like, oh, there he is. And she starts chasing after him. And then like, she's nowhere near him in that chase. I'm like, that chase didn't really make sense for that. Like why was she was in the chase, but she wasn't at all.
Yeah.
And I just thought that was kind of funny. But when she gets there at that dock and she's taunting him, I mean, that was so good. And that was such a good, like, I know we got part 1 and 2 together, and that was a good like cliffhanger for part 3.
Exactly. It was definitely, I'm glad they gave us part 1 and 2 at the same time, because leaving off on part 1, I mean, it was like the flash of the lightsaber as he comes in. Also, I didn't realize, I guess I haven't watched episode 3 in a while. I didn't realize that he takes Anakin's lightsaber. He has Anakin's lightsaber. So maybe, because we never really found out where Maz got Anakin's lightsaber from.
No.
So maybe we'll get like a clue in here. Because I mean, it's buried in the desert in Tatooine. So
the reason Obi-Wan has it is because he's going to give it to Luke in A New Hope.
Oh yeah, that's true. I forgot about that.
So I like that nod in episode 3. I like the nod in the series in
Oh
part
yeah, I guess
1.
because he loses it at Cloud City with the Darth Vader fight.
Correct.
Right?
That's
Yeah.
when Maz gets it sometime after that.
After that, okay. Yeah,
Which
I
as far as
forgot.
I know,
I forgot we haven't hit. We're not. It's before 4, 5, and 6.
Brendan, you can't remember 9 movies perfectly
Yeah, what the
and
hell?
the timeline that
and
jumps
3
around.
and a million different shows that are all set based different times.
Get your mind in. I was gonna say out of the gutter. That doesn't make sense. get it in order. Get your mind together. Oh god.
But yeah, that was pretty cool. That you get to see he's still holding on to Anakin's lightsaber as a almost like a family heirloom for Luke.
Oh yeah. Again, a great nod to the movies. He has the lightsaber and it's just sitting in the desert.
And also what's pretty cool is there's no like marker, there's no sort of distinct place he hid them. He just hid them in the middle of the desert and then went back and found them. Either maybe he used like some sort of force sense to sense them, or he just because there was literally nothing there. Just in the middle of the desert.
They kind of talk about building lightsabers in the Clone Wars in an episode or 2. And they definitely talk about it in Jedi Fallen Order. And it's definitely you are connected to your lightsaber as a Jedi,
like the crystal
through the Force. Yeah. So I completely buy, as a fan of this show and the series, I completely buy that he can like trace where his lightsaber. Now I might have to like backtrack though and be like, how the hell is he gonna find Luke's now that it's just sitting by itself? He's just like, all right, come here, little lightsaber, come here,
let's go. Yep. That was definitely a good addition to also have Anakin's in there with him.
And speaking of other Jedi, part 2, I forget the dude's name, but
Kumail Nanjiani.
Yes,
yeah,
he was hilarious.
He was good.
He was one of the best parts of Eternals.
Oh yeah, yep.
Just give me more of this guy. Yeah. I don't know where he's been all my life, but just keep giving me more.
Just keep putting him in stuff.
He's great.
Keep him in Disney stuff. We're good.
When he shows up to help Obi-Wan and Leia, and he turns around and he shoots the droid as he puts the hood up, it was so cool.
Oh yeah,
like this guy has no business being this cool.
And I love the magnets and stuff he had on his hands to like do the Force, use the Force, and he had a fake lightsaber on him. He had I didn't notice that. He had a fake lightsaber hilt, but you could tell he wasn't a Jedi because it was hanging like on his front, like in front of him, and like all the Jedi usually carry it behind their robes, and so you could tell if you look at those details, you're like, okay, this guy's actually not a Jedi. But when you first introduce him, you're not really looking at that.
He's pulling a Paul Blart where you lean in when you left hip, put your hand on your right, giving the illusion that you have a gun, which we both know you don't.
Yeah, definitely pulling a good old Paul Blart on him.
That's a fool. But yeah, no, he was great. I loved it. I'm trying to think of anything else. Part 2, it was just a good fun, like I said, the Breaking Bad thing in the middle. The bounty hunters get beat, and I'm like, yep, makes sense. Obi-Wan's awesome. Has a badass fight scene there in the middle.
Yeah, like we've never really seen Obi-Wan like hand-to-hand combat.
Yep.
Like, I mean, they did a little bit when him and Anakin fought, but we never really seen like hand-to-hand combat with Obi-Wan.
Right, like this isn't Jedi Obi-Wan. This is him just bending for himself.
Yep.
Yeah,
this is old man. Yeah,
this is
also
Ben.
The only not gripe, but the only thing I have with is because this is 10 years after Episode 3 and 10 years before Episode 4, so we're like right in the middle of that. How the hell is Obi-Wan Kenobi gonna age like 30 years in 10 years?
Well, okay, I'm gonna do a live check on this actually, because when we were watching this. So Val is watching this with me. When we were watching Obi-Wan Kenobi, she did a check, and I didn't fact check her. I'm doing it now on how old Ewan McGregor is.
I would say he's probably like maybe early 50s, late 40s, early 50s.
So I got it right here. He is 51.
Okay.
And if I go to now, this is going to be a little tougher. This is a little harder.
Alec Guinness was definitely like in his 70s.
That's what I'm trying to see how old Alec Guinness was at the time of A New Hope. So he was, come on, I don't need his death. Born 14.
Was it 1914?
Yeah,
So
1914.
1977.
Yes, please, math.
He would have been 63. So actually, pretty close.
Which is pretty
close. That's
I
actually
think
that's
Ewan
actually
McGregor
a lot
just
closer
looked
than I
really
thought.
damn good.
Yeah. Ewan McGregor just aged very well, and Alec Guinness did not. But
They definitely they part 2 they tried to push that a lot. They're like when he's like, tell everyone that you're my daughter, and she's like, granddaughter maybe.
more like,
I'm
yeah,
like,
yeah.
I'm like, bitch, this guy looks fantastic.
Yeah, he looks great for.
I would love to be Ewan McGregor.
Oh yeah,
at 30.
yeah. That guy does not age
That
at
is
all.
that is 2022 Hollywood at its best, I
Yeah.
think. But that's what, yeah, it's so funny how it mathematically works perfectly, I think. Like you said, it's off by like 2 years. But like
It's just because Alec Guinness just looks so much older than but
Yes.
it does. I mean, I guess the math does line up that he would be around 60 years old.
Yeah. Gotta call him Grandpa Ben.
Oh yeah.
All right. Part 3.
Part 3. So the beginning was the Vader suit up, right?
Yes.
So this was the coolest. I think it's really cool that they had Vader be the main antagonist for this, because we've never really seen like the back inner workings of Vader. Like it wasn't really as pronounced in 4, 5, and 6, like episodes 4, 5, and 6. And then we just got a glimpse of it in episode 3. So you see like how much agony he goes through every day to just live. Like, like all but one limb is robotic. He's got to get shit prodded into his back, his stomach, and his neck for him to be able to breathe and stuff. Like, it's just fueling his hatred. I feel like
oh, absolutely. And I saw it right there, fueling his hatred. I don't know if this is official or just theories, but I also saw that like Vader's castle, which looks awesome.
Oh,
just looks super dope.
Crazy awesome.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Damn it. I saw that the reason it's on Mustafar, which is where episode 3 ends, right? Yeah. The reason his castle there is literally to fuel his hatred every single day.
Oh yeah.
And like that's just like,
well, it makes it so much cooler and like so much more like I also heard the I guess there was a comic in in the 2010s, the Darth Vader comic. I forget what it was, but it talks about like him building the castle, like his castle on Mustafar.
I'm so glad you brought this up. I was actually going to recommend this at some point.
I want to read it. I haven't read it, but they talked about it on the breakdown thing.
The Vader comics are so good.
I want to start reading them because I feel like they go into a lot more depth of. I mean, we're sure we'll get a lot of it in the show, but I feel like those go into a lot more depth of who young Darth Vader is. You know what I mean? Like who he's still sort of navigating his dark side. You know,
I think the prequels, you could say, did a couple of things wrong, but like I think one of the biggest issues, I mean, one of the greatest cutaways is just you see him become Darth Vader in episode 3. But I think an issue with that is like, okay, so Anakin Skywalker is Darth Vader, but what the comic really amplifies, and I think we're going to get with this series too, which we started with, is that again, not to be corny, but Anakin Skywalker is dead. Yeah. And like the comics really,
all that's left is Vader.
They drive. I mean, it takes place between episode 3 and 4, and it's just how is Vader becoming Vader? Like, who is he by episode 4? And he does a great job of like he is. I'm not gonna like bullshit you. He's Anakin Skywalker. Sure, he has his memories, he has his emotions, all that stuff. But like, he's not Anakin.
But mentally, he's not there. Yeah,
right.
Mentally, Anakin Skywalker's dead.
I mean, Vader, not Anakin. Vader is the one who kills the younglings, right? Yeah. Like Vader is the one who, while hunting Obi-Wan in part 3, is torturing a man and then snaps his child.
Yeah, that was insane. I had to rewatch it. I was like, was that a kid? I was like, I had to rewind. Oh my god, that was you literally see how terrifying Darth Vader is, because you don't really get that feel in the original trilogy. Like,
I think it's more of an aura, right? Like it's the aura of Vader in the original, which is great. And like I said,
he's like a seasoned general in those, and you know what I mean, like a seasoned.
To fear that guy.
Yeah. Here it's like he's proving I need to be feared,
which it makes total sense. He's still becoming Vader. It's you said it earlier. He's halfway through the intermission. Like I'm so happy that we're getting just a rageful, vengeful, badass Vader. And like I know we're kind of skipping a lot of it, but the end of this part is so good. Like, okay, so and we'll, like I said, we'll talk about the whole thing. But like, so Vader is looking for Obi-Wan. He's torturing people with the Force on the street, and then when he takes out his lightsaber and he's like, let's do this, dude. Yeah. Like right here, right now. And Obi-Wan's like, nope.
Yep. I'm out. Thank you.
Obi-Wan is so like, he's such a bitch.
Yeah.
And it's so funny because you hate to see it, but it's so good for the story, right?
Yeah. Like because Vader thinks that Obi-Wan
is still
he defeated the Grand Inquisitor, because Reva never says that she did it, obviously. Right. Not that Vader would give a shit. I mean, I really don't think he cares. He hates them to begin with anyway.
No, in absolutely every Star Wars non-canon thing, Vader kills the Emperor. So
Yeah. Yep. But I forget what I was gonna. I forget what I was saying.
Vader looking for Obi-Wan though, like.
Oh yeah, like he still thinks that Obi-Wan is, Obi-Wan from 10 years ago that defeated him on Mustafar, but he's just a shell of a man now, and Vader can easily, as we saw in part 3, can easily take Obi-Wan with a little to no effort.
And again, Obi-Wan lighting his lightsaber up for the first time in the series was awesome. It's almost pitch black. You get the blue lightsaber, and the music too. You get the I forget what the theme. I think it's just the general theme. I don't remember which song it is exactly that plays, but it's definitely a New Hope song. And you're like, right, you get a little bit of hope seeing his lightsaber, but as soon as they start fighting, you're like, oh no, there's no hope here.
Well, he even ignited the lightsaber not even to use it as a weapon, but to use it as a flashlight, basically.
Yeah,
like it's like he wasn't even using it for defense. He was using it to try to find Vader.
How good was it too when he's standing there and Vader comes out of the shadow and
just
the only thing you see is his buttons and he's just strolling in, dude. He has so much macho right now. He's like, dude, I'm gonna fuck you up. And so Vader and Obi-Wan confront at that location, and he brings down the charcoal bin that he hovers Obi-Wan over because he sucks at lightsaber fighting right now. He lights it on fire, right?
And then he drags him through it.
He burns him.
It was just like look what you did to me, bitch. Like, I'm gonna do it to you. Like,
and it was so funny. Like, I'm standing there. I think I've said that a lot, but whatever. I'm sitting there watching this, and I'm like, I think it was Force Unleashed, very specifically. And probably a lot of video games. You throw the lightsaber with the Force right at your enemy, killing them instantly, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, what? When he first starts hovering Kenobi, I'm like, just throw your lightsaber out. Just do it. Just have
cut him
right
half.
now.
Yeah.
And then he lights the fire. I'm like, oh, he's torturing him.
He wants him to feel the pain that he went through.
It's so good. It's so good.
He doesn't want him to have that easy death. He's like, I'm going to milk this for as long as I can.
And speaking of, so I forget her name, but the
admiral,
the admiral spy person who's helpful with them. And she takes the shot at the stormtrooper. She lights the fire back up. Right. And that helps Kenobi get away from Darth Vader.
Yep.
The shot is him staring through the fire at Obi-Wan. I don't know about you, but again, credit to Val. She's sitting there watching this and she goes, he's playing cat and mouse with him. 100% agree. 100%. Great. Like that's it.
She's like, I'll let you get. He's like, I'll let you get away for now. I'm still gonna get you.
Yes,
I'm still gonna find more. You. Yeah. Yep.
He is literally playing with Obi-Wan.
Oh yeah. This going back to the village in the beginning before they officially meet. That scene of him, like, you don't even see Vader yet, like, fully. You don't see. I mean, you see him in his castle fully dressed, but like when he's walking like down the road and he's just on the camera's just at his feet and slowly moving up. You're like, holy shit, we're about to see like, some crazy. And then you just see him grab that dude by the neck, pull him up in the air. The kid comes out. He goes, fuck you. Like basically snaps his fingers and like kills him. Like you're like, you just see how hateful Darth Vader is. Like he does not give a fuck who he kills. Like it is, you're in my way, you're dead.
And then even like the next person he gets is like that random woman that he doesn't just lift her up. He drags her through the dirt.
And it had a very a feel of Reva when she cut off that lady's hand. But these people, like, it made it more menacing because these people weren't even like arguing with him. They were just fearful, and he was just like, I'm gonna kill it. I mean, he was doing it to bait Obi-Wan to like get him out. But
at the same time, it establishes to the general people of the Empire who Vader is, and you don't fuck with Vader.
Yeah, he will do whatever he wants. Yeah, that was terrifying.
It is, and that's what, like, I don't know, man. This show is doing a really good depiction of Vader. I like it a lot.
And you can see how much pain he's in physically, like Darth Vader, and you see why he hates Obi-Wan so much, because how much he took from, you know what I mean? How much Obi-Wan took from him. Like he took basically his almost entire body. Like he has one working arm left. Everything else is robotic. Everything else is probably painful to him. Like living a normal life is painful.
I mean, I assume he blames Obi-Wan for just everything. Padme dying, his literal physical body. Like I think he blames Obi-Wan for absolutely everything, which again is just why he's so angry, which great character.
Now, what I'm confused about, I forget at the end of episode 3, does he know that Luke and Leia are alive? I forget. He doesn't know that, right?
No, he doesn't learn about that till
episode 4, right?
Till Empire.
Oh, it's
Empire. I think I can't remember if it's the end of it. No, it's Empire. He knows that Luke is his son, but it's not until Jedi that he learns that Leia is his daughter.
It's been a while since I've seen the original trilogy, so I wasn't sure of it's
I actually think it's off screen, like it's between 4 and 5. He learns about
that. Luke. He learns. Okay,
I actually think it was in a comic. Again, very good. I'm pretty sure in this comic. Again, the Vader comics are really good. There's a Vader comic that takes place between 4 and 5, and like a smuggler or a bounty hunter is working for him, and he's like, "Sorry, we were stopped by this new rebel Skywalker," and Vader like has a moment where he's like, "What'd you just say?"
What did you say? Yeah.
But yeah, it's really good. The comics are really good. I love the Marvel Vader comics. But yeah, I guess the only other thing I really want to talk about with that part 3 is the Hayden Christensen Anakin ghost was awesome. That was still before he knew what Vader looked like. So he's literally thinking Anakin's just going to show up at his doorstep somewhere. Which I think, is there anything else part 3 you want to talk about, or should we go into a little hopes speculation kind of stuff?
My one thing I just wanted to talk about, not just as far as the show. I love that. So Vader's voice it is James Earl Jones, but it's not. So it's an AI company that recreated James Earl Jones's voice, but they're also using Hayden Christensen's voice too. So there's sometimes when he talks, like Hayden Christensen obviously delivered the lines on set in the Vader suit, and then they're doing their Hollywood magic with this AI company. But there were certain lines that he says where I'm like, that's 100% Hayden Christensen, and like it's cool that they're sort of mixing James Earl Jones's voice and Hayden Christensen's voice, so it's kind of like both Anakin and Darth Vader are talking at the same time. Like
it's incredible. Like, dude, movie magic's real.
It's because I was listening to it and I was like, that sounds like James Earl Jones, but it sounds lighter. Like it doesn't sound as like, as menacing yet.
And something I saw or heard someone say, like, love the Rogue One cameo for Darth Vader. Not the fight scene, but his like
when he was coming out of the tank.
Right. But like his dialogue scene, they were like, oh, he sounds a little like they used James Earl Jones to film that scene.
Yeah.
And he sounds older, which to be fair, he is an
James
older
Earl
man.
Jones is, yeah.
Right. But like,
it was filmed
that
over
was
50 years ago. Yeah.
Right. That was something that the audio modded version that they use in Obi-Wan, like they're able to use what he sounded like
in the 70s.
The 70s. Right.
Yep.
I don't know, dude. I love it. I think it sounded great. I didn't notice.
I mean, they did it with Luke in The Mandalorian, which I didn't realize either. I just thought they got Mark Hamill back and just
can I use our
him.
podcast here to call people out? You're a fucking liar if you're gonna sit there and complain. Oh, they used the voice modding for Luke and Vader. Fuck you.
Yeah,
it sounds perfect. I thought they just used him like they did in the other season. Like it makes me laugh every time. Like you want to complain about Tarkin being CGI in Rogue One? Sure, the dude's dead. What did you want? But like,
yeah, exactly. He's not around anymore to provide the voice or be the person anymore. And if he was, he'd probably look like a skeleton because he'd be about 100 years old. He was about 70 when they filmed A New Hope.
Fans are funny sometimes, man.
One thing that I wanted to mention, it was just a funny thing that I noticed, and which I don't know if it's real or not. Jesus, can you hear my dog?
No,
he's flipping out. Okay, he's freaking out upstairs.
Where are you? Where are you?
Yeah. This is like the first time we've ever, at least of my knowledge, in the movies. Now I know we've seen it in games before, but this is the first time in the movie that we've seen Darth Vader not on a ship.
Huh.
Because I feel like every time we've ever seen Darth Vader in the movies, he's been on a ship, on a transport.
I was gonna say
on the Death Star. Like
the only thing that jumps to mind is in Return of the Jedi when he collects Luke after Luke hands himself in.
I guess they are. He's on Endor. Yeah,
but he's not on like he is on Endor, but he's on like a transport or something.
Yeah.
Like he's on metal like construction of some kind. He's not on the planet. No, I think you're right.
The first time we've ever seen Darth Vader in the movies, at least, like in the movie / show, that we've seen Darth Vader on an actual planet, like menacing the society. Like,
yeah, I'm pretty sure. Look, I'm not gonna spoil Rebels, especially for you. Vader is in Rebels, and he's very awesome. So that's on my. I'm gonna do Clone Wars, Rebels, and then probably Bad Batch and isn't there one more? Cartoon? No.
Is that
no.
Okay. I think I'm just mixing up. I think Rebels is two different shows.
Remember everything ever, Brendan. We've established this.
Yeah.
No, I think you're right though. And dude, him walking through that planet, like that trash desert planet thing, whatever they were on, like it was awesome. It was really cool to see him do that. It's hard to think of anything else from part 3 because the Darth Vader scenes just
overpowered everything.
And credit to Ewan McGregor and Obi-Wan Kenobi. Like there are very good parts of those scenes. Like again, like him igniting the lightsaber and not being able to handle what to do and not sure what to do. And then him getting tortured. Like Obi-Wan is so broken and he's so funny. Like it's funny like a clown. No, it's not. It's different. And we've never seen a broken Kenobi like this. And he is shattered.
Yeah.
Like part 4 of this series is where I'm sorry. Can we go a little bit into what we're thinking, hoping?
Okay. I'm just gonna check something real quick. I feel like I hear someone walking around upstairs, so make sure no one broke into my house.
Let you go.
I'll be right back. We're good. I think it was the cat.
Usually is. I was like, what's the worst thing that happens here? And someone I don't know comes in and puts on the headphones, and I'll be doing the podcast.
Yeah. What we're talking Star Wars?
Are we talking Star Wars? I got some Star Wars knowledge.
Yeah.
But okay, so like Broken Kenobi. I definitely think part 4. I mean, he's literally injured.
Yeah.
So he's going to be recovering. He's going to be meditating. I don't know if I'd say we're going to see Qui-Gon in part 4. I'm leaning part 5.
I'd say probably later episodes we'll definitely get a Force Ghost of
I think, look, you got Hayden Christensen, and it's great that he's walking around as Vader.
Yeah.
But you want Hayden Christensen for the face. We want to see Anakin.
I have a feeling he's gonna pull the mask off at least once. And
well, but I think in part 4 we get a Clone Wars flashback of some sort.
I see what you mean. Like you want an actual.
I want Anakin.
You want Anakin. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, I think he's going to kind of be like thinking back on it, and he's going to think about Anakin. We're going to see him, but Kenobi's got to heal and get better. And one of the other things I really like, I keep saying I like Reva, the third sister. I do. I like her a lot. Like I said, I bought the Funko Pop. Valerie, if you're listening, sorry.
They'll show up on our credit cards later.
You're gonna find out soon enough. But I specifically, dude, all these Inquisitors have these awesome double-sided lightsabers.
Yeah,
we got to get out an Inquisitor lightsaber fight. Like the final episode is going to be Vader versus Obi-Wan, right? Like, obviously, like that's got to be the ultimate battle of the show. So the Kenobi's got to fight some Inquisitors at some point, man. I'm liking them, but I need a little juice.
I want to see that. I want to see that because they sort of showed it in when he was spinning the lightsaber at Flea, and I was like, "Ooh, that's pretty cool." Like I didn't then, but we definitely got to see that in more of like a fighting action rather than a torture action.
And so I guess my theory question for you is another Jedi going to show up to fight alongside Obi-Wan?
See, I think they're probably going to bring someone in. There's a theory that it's the dude with the paint across his face. He was like a background actor or a background character in episode 1, and then he's
mentioned in part 3.
Yeah. Yep. I forget his name.
I don't remember the name, but he's the guy that Obi-Wan points at from the bunker. He's like, he was here.
Yeah.
Obi-Wan very much. I don't know. I forget. My mom's based in from Barstool. I was listening to their recap, and they were like, you really get this point where he's reading like who it was, and he was like, shit, that guy is doing the fight, and I'm not. Like, like he's better than me right now.
Yeah. So I think they might, because Ice Cube's son is someone in Obi-Wan. Like he was cast in the show, and we haven't seen him yet. Okay. So I have a feeling he could be him. Okay. But that's just huge speculation. That
would be an awesome throwback because we haven't seen that guy in the movie since episode 1, and like you could get any actor to come back and be that guy. Like, okay, if they got the original, good for that guy.
That'd be good. Yeah. But I'm sure he was a background actor for a reason.
Right. Exactly. He's never said a word or something.
Yeah.
I definitely do. So I think Obi-Wan is going to fight the Inquisitors in, I don't know, I'd probably guess part 5. Maybe part 4. Yeah. But during like part 6, when Obi-Wan's fighting Vader on some awesome ultimate battle scene, I think another Jedi is going to be fighting Inquisitors.
Yep.
And I really like that, especially because he was already mentioned. It would make total sense. The thing I've seen that I really am geeking out over, and I've already mentioned it today, but if Cal Kestis from
the guy from because they could easily, they could easily bring Cameron Monaghan or whatever his name is in, because they
paid for that face for a reason.
Yeah, they used his they basically mocapped him in the game. You know what I mean? Like, so they can easily just bring him in because it looks like it's him in the game. So it would be, that would be awesome.
And people are pointing out. So I know. Shout out to Brendan's rest of his YouTube when he plays video games. But you started it last year.
I started it. I made a part 2. I never released it.
You released part 2.
Oh, I did. Oh, I guess I did. But I definitely want to jump back on that train because watching this is making me want to play that more.
I'll say this. I finished it. I have a love-hate relationship with that game. I want to get the lightsaber. I love-hate it so much. Like, it is a great story. It's a very difficult game, and I was very frustrated with the gameplay at a lot of points.
I think that's why I stopped playing it because I was getting pissed off.
But the end of the game, the story, oh my god, the end of the game is phenomenal. Anyway, they just announced the sequel, which no spoilers to the first game, but the sequel takes place 10 years after Revenge of the Sith. So the sequel
So it's
takes
going to be
place
taking during now, like during
exactly.
Kenobi.
So it would not surprise me if this super hypothetical Cal Kestis shows up in Obi-Wan Kenobi.
I have a better feeling it's going to be him than the other guy now.
You could say Kenobi leads into whatever the sequel game is. Like this is right before that game starts.
Yep.
That would be pretty cool. And I like Cameron. What's his last name?
Monahan or
I like
something.
him.
Yeah.
He's a good actor.
He's great in
fun.
Shameless. He's great in the game. Like,
did you watch Gotham?
Oh yeah, he was the Joker. Yeah,
he was great.
He literally played two different characters.
He's a great actor, in my opinion. So yeah, bring him. I love it.
Yeah,
give it more.
Bring it in. But yeah, that's that. I do hope they do that because I feel like that would make more sense with where Star Wars is going now. Like character wise, I feel like if they bring him into live action, it would be pretty cool. And maybe they could do like a spin-off show with him or something. Like,
oh, I'd be down. Regardless, I do want. Like I said, I just hope there is a Inquisitor fight sequence while Obi, like kind of again very Revenge of the Sith. When Yoda's fighting the Emperor and Obi-Wan's fighting Anakin.
Now, do you think we'll get an Emperor appearance at all in this? At least even through like hologram, even like a hollow whatever thing.
Hollow thingamajig.
Yeah, whatever.
No. I think we get a cameo. I honestly don't really know what other cameo. I'm shocked we haven't seen him yet, but although Vader himself just showed up, and it's not like the Inquisitors are reporting to the Emperor, like
they're reporting to him. They're reporting to Vader. Yeah,
exactly. So, I would say I bet you the Emperor shows up in part 4 or 5, depending on how much Vader we're about to get.
Yeah. But I'm very excited for these episodes. And I'm glad they're not dragging it out too much because then they'd be able to throw in a bunch of bullshit we don't care about. They're just getting to the good stuff immediately. Like,
that's what I think. I forget if we started talking about this yesterday, but like they really are. It's Obi-Wan Kenobi. They really are just doing Obi-Wan Kenobi.
They're not doing any of these BS side stories or, they focused a little bit on Leia in the beginning, but that was just to reintroduce you to young Leia or to introduce you to young Leia.
Yeah, young Leia. You got new Disney droid that you can go buy somewhere, I'm sure.
Yep. Oh yeah. Yep.
That is for sure going to be
at least they're not pulling
what's it called? A drone.
Yeah. The little whatever the little bug thing she has. Something like that. It was like LOLA 59 or something like that.
That's better.
And I was trying to look it up. I was wondering if 59 is Carrie Fisher's like birth year. Like she was born. Let me see. No, 1956. Close enough.
And a Batman.
And a Batman.
I'm sure it's something like
some sort of
everything in Star Wars has some connection to something.
Oh yeah, they always put in some sort of secret code that it's like the A113 thing that they always put in all the Pixar movies.
Yeah. SCAD class, bro.
Ridiculous.
I don't know what else I really like. Again,
I think that's all I have on the first 3 parts and upcoming.
Yeah, I don't know. I think you said it best. I really like it. I've enjoyed it. I think the pacing is really good. I can't believe we're halfway through already. I mean, I watched all 3 episodes within 2 days. Like
it's sad, but it's also like, and I'm glad that this seems like it's going towards just a one-time thing. Like they're not going to come back with Obi-Wan season 2 or 3. I think it's just going to be this season and that's it. And then they'll possibly branch off into other shows.
It's funny because before it started, I was very much of the like, oh, they announced it as a limited series. It's only going to be 1 season. Like that kind of stinks. Like I would love to just keep getting more Obi-Wan. But as this has gone on, like, no, you're right. Like they are putting their all into this and it's going to be hopefully a great finale. And I'll be just content. It'll be like a post Thanksgiving dinner where you're like stuffed and you're like, oh yes,
this is good. Yep. Yeah, it's definitely going to be a fulfilling Star Wars, like a fan fulfilling series.
Yes, agreed. Very much. I can't wait for next week. That's really what it is.
I know. I'm very much forward looking to Wednesdays now.
I know, and now next week when we do our new podcast episode, we'll have Obi-Wan Kenobi Part 4 and Miss Marvel episode 1
Oh, that comes out
next week, same day.
Are you a Boys fan? Are you the Boys fan? Did you watch that at all? That
I
came
have
out.
not seen season 3.
I'm gonna watch they released the first 3 episodes today.
Okay.
So I'm gonna watch them tonight.
But the rest will be it'll be a
I think
a
they're doing
release.
Yeah, I think they're doing like what they did with Obi-Wan, released a couple episodes first, and then it's new episodes every Friday.
I really like The Boys. My friend Parker actually got me into it after season 2 was released. Like, okay. I think as a whole, maybe a couple episodes were left, but like I binged through season 1 in like a couple of days. Was like, why did I not watch this?
It's such a good show.
It's so great.
It's amazing. But yeah, I'm down for we'll do part 4 of Obi-Wan and then episode 1 of Miss Marvel,
which I heard the podcast I liked got a review of it for episodes 1 and 2 of Miss Marvel, and they said, "Have you watched Mitchell's versus the Machines?"
That was a Netflix movie.
Netflix,
right? I saw parts of it, but not all of it.
I really liked it. I thought it was fun. You know, it was Sony, and they did a little bit of a different animation. I like how they always try to make it a little unique.
Oh yeah.
And the guy compared it to that. He was like, "It's Marvel meets Mitchell's versus the Machines," and I don't know. I like that.
Sounds interesting. Yeah.
Definitely think Miss Marvel is going to be a younger audience focus.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Oh, but I mean,
that's where all these shows are kind of moving towards, is a younger audience, younger characters, stuff like that. But
yeah, we gotta have Moon Knight, so hopefully they just kick it up a little bit.
Yeah.
For you, I don't know if you've watched it yet. Rescue Rangers, the new movie.
I watched the first half of it. I put it on for Ollie, and he hated it, so I turned it off.
What?
It is
focused towards us.
Yeah, like, it's definitely more of an. I put it on, and I was like, I don't think he's gonna like it. He likes like the original Chippendale cartoon, like the Rescue Rangers cartoon.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, this would be perfect. Wasn't a big fan, but I thought it was funny. The Sonic cameo.
Oh, Ugly Sonic is so funny. I really liked it. I think it's good. I think it's really fun.
I definitely got to watch the rest. I think I watched like half of it, and then
there's a Kingdom Hearts like Easter egg in the one scene. It's in the trailer actually when they find like the bags of things or whatever. I don't know if you got to that part in the movie. They find like a room full of bags of like cartoon stuff.
I don't think I've seen that yet.
Okay, it was in the trailer, but like without saying anything else, basically the Keyblade's in there somewhere.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's a neat little knot.
Well, that's a perfect movie. I love those where they like toss in little like cameos for stuff.
Yeah,
just yeah. They get not the rights, but like almost kind of like Who Framed Roger Rabbit type deal, where they just throw in a bunch of cameos and little Easter eggs and stuff.
Oh, and that's what Ugly Sonic. I saw. I don't know if it's true or not, but I read that they actually didn't get the rights to him. They were able to use him completely because of parody law. Like,
yeah, I mean, that makes sense.
Because they never call him Sonic. They always say Ugly Sonic.
Yeah.
And then his actual model is changed enough from the original bad design that
I was gonna say it looks a little different.
Because he's got the beer belly and the sunglasses.
Well, you know who voices him is Tim Robinson.
It's so good.
It was perfect. Perfect cast.
When he's in the second half of the movie and he starts laughing. That's like, and I'm just like, it's Tim Robinson laughing.
Oh, yeah.
Like it's just him.
It's a straight out of I Think You Should Leave sketch.
Yes, absolutely. But yeah, I mean, dude, I don't really have much else to say. I don't think. I'm really excited. All good things. Cal Kestis shows up, I'll be super happy, and just give me some super ultimate lightsaber fight somewhere.
Oh
here.
Yeah. I'm so excited to see what they bring in for the rest of the show.
They're really like
this last episode could have been like if it didn't end that way, it could have been like the series finale episode, and I would have been happy. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, so I can't imagine what they're gonna do for the series finale.
Agreed.
I honestly wasn't thinking we were gonna get Vader this soon.
I didn't either. I thought for sure that the first half was be strictly Inquisitors, and then by the end of part 3, you get like a Thanos, I'll do it myself from Vader.
Yep.
But
that's what I thought too.
Vader came in part 2, and then he's like, I'm here in part 3.
I'm actually part of the show, not just a token thing.
I love it so much. It's great. Good.